Adolf Hitler, a name synonymous with evil and tyranny, casts a long shadow over the 20th century. His actions and ideologies have left an indelible mark on history, making him one of the most infamous figures of all time. Born in the small town of Braunau am Inn, Austria in 1889, Hitler's early years were marked by a series of personal and academic failures. Despite these setbacks, he harbored grandiose dreams of becoming an artist, dreams that were ultimately crushed when he was rejected by the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. Hitler's ideology, a toxic blend of nationalism, anti-Semitism, and a lust for power, led to the systematic murder of millions and forever changed the course of human history. His rise to power was fueled by his ability to manipulate public sentiment and exploit the economic and political instability of post-World War I Germany. Understanding Hitler's life, from his humble beginnings to his catastrophic end, is crucial to comprehending the horrors of the Holocaust and the importance of combating hatred and intolerance in all its forms. The atrocities committed under his regime serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and prejudice. His early life held few clues to the monster he would become. Raised in a strict household, young Adolf was a mediocre student who struggled to find his place in the world. His father's authoritarian nature and his mother's overprotectiveness created a turbulent home environment that may have influenced his later behavior. Yet, within this seemingly ordinary man lay the seeds of ambition and resentment that would ultimately blossom into unimaginable darkness. His time in Vienna exposed him to various political ideologies and anti-Semitic rhetoric, which began to shape his twisted worldview. This essay explores the life and legacy of Adolf Hitler, examining the key events that shaped his worldview and led to his horrific reign of terror. From his failed artistic ambitions to his rise as the Führer of Nazi Germany, we delve into the complexities of his character and the catastrophic impact of his actions on the world. Hitler's experiences as a soldier in World War I further fueled his sense of betrayal and anger, particularly towards the Treaty of Versailles, which he believed humiliated Germany. These sentiments became central to his political platform as he sought to restore Germany to its former glory. His failed coup attempt in 1923, known as the Beer Hall Putsch, landed him in prison, where he penned Mein Kampf, outlining his vision for Germany and his virulent anti-Semitic beliefs. This manifesto became the blueprint for his future policies and the atrocities that would follow. As he ascended to power, Hitler's charismatic oratory and propaganda machine captivated a nation desperate for change. His promises of economic revival and national rejuvenation resonated with many, paving the way for his totalitarian regime and the horrors of World War II. Adolf Hitler's early life was marked by both instability and a growing sense of German nationalism. His formative years were a complex tapestry of personal struggles and societal influences that would shape his future ideologies and actions. Born in Braunau am Inn, Austria, on April 20th, 1889, he was the fourth of 6 children. This small town, nestled on the border between Austria and Germany, would be the starting point of a life that would later impact the entire world. His father, Alois, was a strict customs official known for his authoritarian demeanor and rigid discipline. In contrast, his mother, Clara, was a doting parent who provided a softer, more nurturing presence in young Adolf's life. The dichotomy between his parents' approaches to parenting created a household of conflicting emotions and expectations. Hitler's childhood was punctuated by frequent moves due to his father's job and the deaths of several siblings, experiences that likely contributed to his growing sense of isolation and detachment. These early losses and the instability of his home life may have sown the seeds of his later emotional and psychological turmoil. He excelled in elementary school, showing a particular talent for art and a keen interest in history. However, he struggled in secondary school, finding it difficult to conform to the rigid academic structure. Ultimately, he dropped out at the age of 16, a decision that would set him on a different path than his peers. After his mother's death in 1906, Hitler drifted to Vienna, Austria's capital, where he hoped to become an artist. The bustling city, with its rich cultural scene and artistic heritage, seemed like the perfect place for him to pursue his dreams. However, he was twice rejected by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, a setback that deeply wounded him. These rejections were a significant blow to his self-esteem and aspirations, leading to a period of deep personal crisis. He spent the next few years living in poverty, eking out a meagre existence by selling postcards and painting watercolors. This period of hardship exposed him to the harsh realities of life on the margins of society, further shaping his worldview. The years in Vienna proved to be formative for Hitler. The city's vibrant yet divided social fabric left a lasting impression on him, influencing his thoughts and beliefs in profound ways. He was exposed to the city's underbelly, witnessing first-hand poverty, homelessness, and social unrest. These experiences fueled his growing resentment towards the established social order and the various groups he deemed responsible for these conditions. It was during this time that he began to develop his warped worldview, blaming Jews and other minorities for Austria's problems. The anti-Semitic and nationalist ideologies that were prevalent in Vienna at the time found a receptive audience in the young, disillusioned Hitler. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich, Germany, to avoid Austrian military service. Munich, with its own vibrant cultural scene and political ferment, offered a new environment for Hitler to immerse himself in. However, when World War I erupted in 1914, he volunteered for the German army, eager to prove his loyalty to his adopted country. The war provided him with a sense of purpose and belonging that he had previously lacked. He served with distinction as a dispatch runner, a role that required both bravery and resilience. His performance earned him the Iron Cross for bravery, a prestigious military decoration that he wore with pride. The war had a profound impact on Hitler, solidifying his nationalism and fueling his resentment towards the Treaty of Versailles, which he believed unfairly blamed Germany for the war. This sense of betrayal and injustice would become a central theme in his future political rhetoric, driving his ambitions and actions in the years to come. The end of World War I left Germany in ruins, both physically and psychologically. The once proud nation found itself grappling with the aftermath of a devastating conflict that had not only decimated its infrastructure, but also shattered the morale of its people. Cities lay in ruins, and the returning soldiers, who had once marched off to war with high hopes, now came back to a homeland that was almost unrecognizable. The country was saddled with massive war debts, rampant inflation, and widespread unemployment. The economic situation was dire, with hyperinflation rendering the German mark almost worthless. People found themselves needing wheelbarrows full of money just to buy a loaf of bread. Unemployment soared, and long lines of desperate citizens waiting for food became a common sight. The social fabric of Germany was fraying, and the sense of despair was palpable. The humiliation of defeat, coupled with the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles, created a fertile breeding ground for extremist ideologies. The treaty not only imposed heavy reparations on Germany, but also stripped it of its territories and military capabilities. Many Germans felt betrayed and humiliated, believing that their leaders had stabbed them in the back by agreeing to such punitive terms. Protests erupted, and the anger and resentment among the populace grew, setting the stage for radical political movements to take root. One such ideology was National Socialism, or Nazism, a movement that Adolf Hitler would come to embody. The early Nazi rallies were marked by fervent nationalism and a sense of unity among the participants. The swastika, an ancient symbol, was adopted as the emblem of the party, and it soon became synonymous with the Nazi movement. Hitler, with his intense oratory skills and magnetic presence, began to attract a following. In 1919, Hitler joined a small fringe political party known as the German Workers' Party. At the time, the party was relatively unknown and had little influence. However, Hitler saw potential in its nationalist and anti-Semitic rhetoric. He quickly became one of its most active members, attending meetings and engaging in heated debates. His passion and conviction began to draw attention. He quickly rose through the ranks, becoming its leader in 1921. Under his leadership, the party began to grow, attracting more members who were disillusioned with the current state of affairs in Germany. Hitler's vision for the party was clear. It would be a vehicle for his radical ideas and a means to seize power. Under Hitler's direction, the party, which would soon be renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party, adopted a platform of extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and anti-communism. The party's propaganda was relentless, spreading messages of hate and division. Anti-Semitic posters and pamphlets became widespread, and the swastika was prominently displayed at rallies and events. Hitler proved to be a charismatic and effective orator, captivating audiences with his fiery speeches that tapped into their anger, resentment, and desperation. His ability to articulate the frustrations and fears of the German people made him a powerful figure. Crowds would gather in large numbers to hear him speak, and his words would often be met with enthusiastic applause and chants of support. He skillfully exploited the prevailing economic and social anxieties, scapegoating Jews, communists, and other minorities for Germany's woes. By identifying these groups as the root of Germany's problems, Hitler provided a convenient target for the public's anger. This tactic not only unified his supporters, but also diverted attention from the real issues facing the country. The Nazis promised to restore Germany to its former glory, appealing to a deep-seated sense of national pride and yearning for a strong leader. They painted a picture of a revitalized Germany, free from the shackles of the Treaty of Versailles, and once again a dominant force on the world stage. This vision resonated with many Germans who longed for a return to better times. The Nazi Party's early growth was fueled by a combination of factors, including Hitler's charisma, the party's effective propaganda machine, and the willingness of many Germans to embrace radical solutions to the country's problems. The party's message was clear and direct, and its propaganda was designed to appeal to the emotions of the masses. As the party gained momentum, its rallies grew larger, and its influence began to spread. The party's paramilitary organization, the Sturmbataillon, or SA, also played a key role, intimidating opponents and creating an atmosphere of fear and violence. The SA, with its brown-shirted members, became a symbol of Nazi power and aggression. They were often involved in street brawls and violent confrontations with political opponents, further destabilizing the already fragile political landscape of Germany. The presence of the SA sent a clear message. The Nazis were a force to be reckoned with, and they were willing to use violence to achieve their goals.